What I thought my 20s would be was completely different from what it actually was. And if I could go back to talk to my younger 20-year-old self and give him some advice that can stop him and many of you from wasting your time and live a better life, here are the 7 biggest things that I learned from my mistakes, and hopefully it can stop you from making the same ones.
And the best thing is, all of that will happen in the next 4 minutes or so.
And lesson number 7 is to learn to say no as soon as possible. And you'll be surprised how liberating it is to say no to things that you're not even interested in at all. When I was in my 20s, I wanted to be liked and even admired by those around me, so I ended up saying yes to everything and didn't realize that saying no was an option and even the key to showing confidence and dominance. Think about it. How many times did you ask someone for help and they said no to you right in your face? Did it make them feel bad? Absolutely not. If anything, the people who tend to do well in life, like rich people or celebrities, are known for saying no to everything. So why should you worry about what people think when you say no to them?
But if you still want to be polite, saying no with a simple reason like, I don't feel like it, or I don't have time is enough most of the time.
But no amount of saying no matters if you don't know the next lesson in your 20s, and that not everyone nice to you is your friend. People can be nice, or at least pretend to be nice to you for all sorts of reasons. Sometimes they're genuinely good people, but most of the time, they want something from you. Maybe they want to sell something, or maybe they want you to trust them and be on their side for whatever selfish reason. And if you only hang out or trust the ones who are nice to you right away, you could end up surrounded by fake and shallow friends.
There is a famous saying that says, the true friendship should be as light as water, implying that people who are too nice to you are probably the villains you have to worry about.
But you want to have as many friends in your 20s, and sometimes you're willing to hang out with the bad apples. But that's when lesson number 5 stops you right there, because you shouldn't worry too much about not having best friends, especially in your 20s. And before you argue that, but the internet says it gets more difficult to meet friends as you get older, what those studies don't tell you about is the quality of friends that you make at different times of your life. Yes, it's easier for you to meet a lot of people early in your life, but they tend to not stick around. And most people I know actually met their best friends way later in life than you imagine. Because as your life settles down in your 30s and 40s, it becomes easier for you to make plans for people you want to hang out with. As well as lesson number 4, which is friendship and relationships should be easy. So if it's filled with drama and worry, then it's probably not worth the trouble. I'm sure most of you watching this, you like making people miserable and you'll spread lies about someone behind their back. So if someone's doing that to you, do you think it's even worth it to pay attention to them? Let alone becoming their friends or loved ones. Your time is worth everything. Don't spend it on people that are toxic to you.
So if someone tends to gossip about others in a negative way in front of you, more than likely they're also going to do that to you in front of others. And most people never change their bad habits.
But if there's one common habit in life that almost everyone in their 20s is doing wrong, then it has to be lesson number 3, not getting enough sleep. You might think you have too many things to do, and sleep seems like a big waste of time, but if you keep overworking yourself, sooner or later, that catches up and you're likely going to be burned out. And you'll be surprised by how life-changing a good sleep schedule could be. Like if you're into fitness, you probably heard that the first thing in bodybuilding is not lifting weights, but getting enough sleep. But since we're talking about gyms, lesson number 2 is actually to work out only for yourself and not for others. As everyone goes to the gym for different reasons, but deep down, we all want to be more attractive. But for someone who's been going to the gym for over 20 years, I've realized that being in good shape almost never gets you the kind of attention you want. And there are studies that show girls aren't attracted to muscular guys the way we believe. So to avoid disappointment, just go to the gym only for yourself and self-improvement. But nothing changed my life in the 20s more than lesson number 1, and that is you won't like everyone you meet. So that also means not everyone will like you, and that is just human nature. Based on the recent study, most people see one another as a number rather than a living being. Let's do a little test. When I tell you there are over 8 billion people on Earth, do you think of 8 billion different faces, or do you only see a number? Most people don't pay attention to anything around them, and you don't have forever to deal with everyone. So forget all the trolls in your everyday life and focus on the people that you think truly matter to you.
But how do you know what matters or not? Because growing up as an American, the media told us nothing but lies. And in this video, you'll find out the biggest lies America told the world that turned out to be flat out lies.